It's the beginning of the end. A man once hailed as the savior of Germany is now hiding in a concrete tomb beneath its dying capital. His armies are shattered, his allies gone, and above his head, the world he built is burning to the ground. It's early 1945. In Berlin, Adolf Hitler steps through a steel-reinforced door and vanishes underground, never to emerge again. The final chapter of the Third Reich isn't written on a battlefield or in a Nazi rally. It unfolds in silence, paranoia, and the dim corridors of a bunker buried beneath Berlin. This is the story of Hitler's last refuge, and how, brick by brick, it became his tomb. By April 1945, Berlin is surrounded. The Red Army tightens its grip while buildings collapse and civilians flee or die in the rubble. Deep beneath the Reich Chancellery, Adolf Hitler retreats to a final sanctuary, the Führerbunker. But this wasn't just a bomb shelter, it was a last stand. The Führerbunker sat below the Vorbunker, a structure originally built in 1936 for air raids. It was crude, cramped, and barely adequate. In 1944, with the war closing in, Hitler demanded a stronger shelter. Engineers reinforced the structure with thick concrete walls and soundproofing over 3 meters deep. It wasn't just protection, it was isolation. Once inside, escape was no longer an option. The upper level, the Vorbunker, contained storerooms, a primitive kitchen, and communication lines. Water tanks stood in the corners, their levels diminishing day by day. A spiral staircase at the rear descended into the heart of the Führerbunker, a maze of 18 narrow, dimly lit rooms. The air was stale and heavy, filled with dread. Hitler and Eva Braun occupied 6 of these rooms. His chamber held little more than a bed, a desk, a flickering lamp, and a massive wall map of Germany. Each day, the front lines marked in red crept closer to the capital. Eva Braun tried to preserve a facade of normalcy. Her room was adorned with perfume bottles and silk dresses. She hosted tea parties with the secretaries, laughing and sipping champagne, pretending that the war above them didn't exist. Joseph Goebbels and his wife, Magda, lived nearby with their 6 children. The children played quietly, unaware of the fate that awaited them. In one of the bunker's farthest rooms, Hitler held his final war councils. Surrounded by maps and loyal aides, he raged at the inevitable. On April 22nd, he finally said the words aloud, "It's over." As April came to a close, the bunker deteriorated rapidly. Diesel generators failed, lights flickered, and the air grew thick with smoke and desperation. Hitler remained in his chambers, growing thinner and more erratic. His meals were silent, his sleep restless, his body trembling under the weight of defeat. On April 28th, he married Eva Braun in a brief and solemn ceremony, held beneath the collapsing remnants of his empire. 2 days later, they ended their lives. Cyanide for her, cyanide, and a gunshot for him. Their bodies were carried through a narrow passageway and incinerated in the Chancellery Garden, while Soviet artillery continued to pound the city. Afterward, an eerie quiet fell over the bunker. When Soviet forces finally reached the complex, they found it deserted. The structure was soon flooded and buried beneath layers of rubble in an attempt to erase its existence. Today, no marker or memorial identifies the site. There is no museum, no plaque, only a quiet parking lot in central Berlin. Beneath it lie the final remnants of a regime that sought to dominate the world and instead ended in ruin. The Führerbunker was meant to be a fortress. In the end, it became a grave.